Up everybody, Louis back here again after a week break. We got a fun fight. Kevin Gastelum taking on Jared Cannonier, 185 pounds middleweight. Exciting time for that. We got, Robert Whitaker's got their next title shot, but after that, Adesanya's desperate for new contenders, so we got a little mini tournament going on, I think. We got this fight, and then you got Till taking on Brunson, and then you got Costa taking on Vettori, so, a lot of good fights coming up in that division. Last weekend, Gregor Masasi got it done over John Salter. I made some predictions for that fight, for that card. It didn't do so great, but don't watch Bellator too much. But, Bellator's a little more unpredictable than I thought. And then you had Rafael Stotts taking out Magomedov. And, that was just awesome, man. That was a great fight. That was a close win. And, Stotts plus 300 underdog. So it just goes to show, big upsets can happen in the sport, and you got to be aware of them. But we got a good card, not the most star-studded card, but you got some fun fights. You got the main event, and then you got Clay Guida taking on Marco Madsen, and then got Parker Porter taking on Jay Sherman, and I'm actually pretty excited for that fight because, I think Parker Porter could be a sleeper, and I'm excited to see new contenders develop in the heavyweight division. But anyway, so we got a lot of good fights coming up, and, UFC's finally back. Did my research, I'm here, and I'm ready to make some money. A lot of opportunities here. Co-main event of the prelims, 135 pounds Bantamweight, exciting division. You got Brian Kelleher taking on Domingo Pilarte. Brian Boom Kelleher, he took on Ricky Simon his last fight. Tough fight for him. It was up at 145. They both agreed to fight there. But anyway, first round, he gets taken down immediately with a double leg, but Ricky Simon's a good wrestler. And then he gets back to his feet, but he gets mat return. But he's able to shrimp out from half guard, and he gets onto his feet, back to his feet. But then he gets taken down again. But he squeezes the guillotine, but it doesn't go anywhere. But he does have a decent guillotine. And in the second round, he comes forward with hooks, but he eats a couple jabs. He lands a front face kick, but he gets taken down. But he scrambles out with a leg lock, and you're always moving down there. It's hard to keep him down there. Brian fights all the time. He gets backed up with a blitz and leg kicks, and then he gets taken down with a blast double from Ricky. And then in the third round, he gets out of the standing back position, but he gets clinched against the fence, and then he gets taken down, and he holds on to Kimura in half guard, and he wasn't going to get it. The story of that fight, basically, just, he try to throw some big power shots, but Ricky's just too good of a wrestler, so it is what it is. Ricky's a tough guy, but Brian, had some good striking moments, but just a little too much for him. And then Domingo Pilarte, and, he hasn't fought too consistently. His last fight was a while ago, so I don't really see the point in digging up a bunch of his fights. He took on Journey Newson his last fight in the first round. He lands a left head kick at range. He stalks forward with his hands down. He gets knocked out with a straight right. Usually I would go back and watch more fights, but I just don't care. I don't know. Maybe this is bad on my part. I just have a feeling. I like Brian Kelleher here. Pilarte hasn't fought in a while. Kelleher is good unless he's fighting top 15 guys, which Domingo isn't. Pilarte's plus 150, Kelleher's minus 170. No brainer. My pick here is Brian Kelleher. And the prelims, 145 featherweight, you got Austin Lingo taking on Luis Saldana. Lingo took on Jay Kilburn his last fight. In the first round, he bounces forward. He lands 1-2 hooks, and then he drops him real quick. And then he back on the feet, he stalks and lands a jab and a right cross. And then he tees off on him up against the fence, and he's able to stuff a double leg attempt from Kilburn. Really good first round for him. Second round, he gets taken out the double as he's stalking forward. But he gets right back up, and then he lands a left hook, and then he defends another double leg. And then he stands at range. He's able to land a 1-2. He lands a flurry, and then he's able to get a double leg takedown of his own at the end of the round. And then in the third round, he stuffs a double leg, and he gets the headlock. And then he's able to slide in the range, and he lands a 1-2. And then he lands a straight right. He looked really good. His striking looked really crisp, and he was able to stop most of the takedowns. And Luis Saldana, his last fight, he took on Jordan Griffin. It was a real barn burner. In the first round, he backs up and lands body kicks, but he gets right back up before he gets taken down by Griffin. But he eats a combination, and then he gets clinched and then taken down with the body lock, and he gives up his back to Griffin, which is dangerous because Griffin's really good on the ground. In the second round, he gets pressed to the fence, and he slips on a kick, and Griffin takes advantage and jumps on top of him. However, he's able to scramble, and he's able to and he gets out of the Griffin's standing guillotine attempt, but he gets taken down with the double, and then he's in a Von Flue choke position, and then he transitions and he gives up his back to Griffin. And then in the third round, he clinches to the fence, but Griffin gets a standing rear naked choke. It's pretty weird, but it doesn't last long. It's not deep, but Saldana lands in half guard on top of Griffin, but then Griffin scrambles out. Really good, really good grappling match. I thought that fight was really close with Griffin. You take a look at the betting lines here. Saldana's -120, Lingo's +100. It's a really tough call, honestly. I think the Saldana and Griffin fight could have went either way. I think his grappling is decent, and he's not getting put in any serious danger. But Griffin definitely got the better of him, in my opinion. Close decision. I liked how Lingo looked in his last fight. He's even money. My pick here is Austin Lingo. Fight on the main card, down at flyweight, you got a fun scrap. Alex Pantoja taking on Brandon Royval. Royval back in action after that nasty, shoulder break against Moreno. Really unfortunate. Glad to see him back. Pantoja took on Manel Kopp his last fight. In the first round, he lands a flurry, and then he shoots a double leg. He eats some jab stock, from Manel, but got the better of the striking. In the second round, he stalks and lands a leg kick, and then he's able to land counter 1-2s off of Manel, and then he lands a counter right jab, right off of Manel's jab. He's able to time it, and just kind of hang back and counter Manel. And then he gets taken down with the last 20 seconds. Manel shoots a blast double. Then in the third round, he gets hit with a combo and a body shot, but he lands a head kick up, and he eats a straight right when they're in a firefight exchange. But he gets taken down with a double, but then he gets back up, didn't get ridden out too long, and he lands a straight right in another firefight exchange. Got the better of Manel. Manel just didn't pull the trigger, but Pantoja looked good too. Then Royval took on Moreno his last fight. And in the first round, he gets hit with hooks and straight shot while he's rushing in to throw his shots. And then he lands a 1-2, but then he gets taken down with a body lock. But he's able to kick Moreno off of him. Doesn't spend too much time down there. But back on the feet, he gets hit with a jab. And then he gets his arm taken after throwing a spinning elbow and gets taken down. Body lock. However, he's active from his guard, and he tries a leg lock, doesn't work, and then they're just kind of scrambling. They're in a twister position. Moreno's not going for it. They're just trying to fight per position, but then his shoulder unfortunately pops, and then Moreno just gets behind and TKOs him with 1 second left. It was unfortunate. It was a fun scrap. I definitely thought Moreno was getting the better of him in the grappling. But, Royval has some hard shots. He can knock anybody out. His last fight with Tim Elliott was really exciting, and he ended up pulling it out. But take a look at the betting line. Royval +150, Pantoja -170. I thought Pantoja looked good his last fight. Didn't show me anything spectacular. Royval's a wild card. I think he gets hit a lot. That's his thing. But, he can create some problems for people and mix it up and make it a dirty fight, and that's a good quality to have in an underdog, and I like the spot here. I'm going to go with Brandon Royval here. Okay, and then next fight on the main card, 155, you got Vince Pichel taking on Austin Hubbard. Vince Pichel, last fight, took on the veteran Jim Miller, gatekeeper to be elite in the division. You got to beat Jim Miller. In the first round, he eats a blitz from range, and then he eats a straight right, but he lands a counter knee. And then he lands a straight right, but he gets clinched from Miller. And then he gets taken down with a single, and he gives up his back. And Miller just swarms him the first round, basically. Then the second round, he lands a head kick, but he gets taken down in a full guard. And then he gets to his feet, and he clinches to the fence and gets a double leg. He was able to avoid submission attempt from Miller. I think he threw up an omoplata, and then he lands ground and pound a full guard, and then he gets half guard and lands some nice ground and pound, stays busy down there. Then the third round, he lands a 1-2, and he gets a single and gets the fence, and then he gets a takedown, and he tries his own Kimura, doesn't get it, but it's good that he's active and throwing submission threats there. And then he's able to get side control, and then he's able to transition to back control, but he gets reversed with a guillotine attempt from Miller. But he's able to get back on the feet, and he lands a hard knee in the clinch, and then he lands a head kick. He gets put in a guillotine, but he's able to escape, and he lands a full guard and just delivers more ground and pound. Ended the fight strong. Didn't look good the first round, but came on very strong the next 2 rounds. Then Austin Hubbard, his last fight, he took on Dakota Bush. In the first round, he comes forward. He lands a hook to the body and then a 1-2. He gets hit with a right hook in the exchange. He's able to land a calf kick and then a left hook. And then he throws a lot of leg kicks in the first round, especially. He does in the second and third, but first round, very leg kick heavy. Then in the second round, he fights off a single leg attempt against the fence. He's able to stuff the single, and he's able to get his own reshot. and he's able to get in the full guard on the fence, and then he's able to transition to half guard. So, you know, Hubbard has good ground in game 2, and he's looking to advance, do damage, look for submissions, and then he gets a full guard from a scramble back. He gets full guard back from scramble position, so, you know, he has good control, and it doesn't just let guys up. Then in the third round, he gets hit with the 1-2, but he lands counter hooks, and he gets his back taken, but he's able to reverse immediately, and then he gets the half guard, and then he's able to transition a full mount and land elbows and do damage. You know, Austin Hubbard looked good. He's had some setbacks like Marco Madsen, but you know, he comes back strong. He's a good fighter. Austin Hubbard minus 105. Vince Pichel minus 115. Pick him. You know, it's a tough one, but I like Vince Pichel here. Honestly, I think Hubbard will have a good. I think Hubbard will actually have a good first round, even though, you know, Hubbard usually starts out slow. I think he'll come out strong because Vince Pichel started out really slow in the first round, but he's able to wait guys out. And I think it's going to be close, but I think Vince Pichel is just going to be able to get the better of the grappling exchanges. I think he'll be able to get a takedown, get some back control possibly, and just ride him out basically for just enough time to win the round. My pick here is Vince Pichel. Fight on the main card. You got a fun banger at Bantamweight. You got Trevin Jones taking on UFC newcomer Sadia Kebab. Sorry, it's going to sound bad. Kakramanov, I believe. Trevin Jones, his last fight, took on Mario Batista. First round, he gets the clinch as Mario is throwing his 1-2. And then he's able to stay at range, and he's laying his body kicks, and he's able to move out of the way and just kind of stay on the outside and take his time and pick his shots wisely. And then he eats body kicks in, knee to the head in the clinch, and then he eats a left hook from Mario. And he gets hit with the uppercut and a jab as he's coming forward, but then he lands a left hook and he shoots against the fence. But then in the second round, he eats a counter hook as they both crash forward, but then he's able to get a knockout with the lead right uppercut. And, you know, he has power, man. You know, took his time in the first round. First round, usually not his best round, but, you know, he's able to down the data and get the knockout. And then you can see, you know, Timur Valiev, you know, he should have been out, and he won. You know, you can't, that's like stuff, it's amazing. His durability is on another level, and he takes his time, can't count this guy out. Good performance from him. Sadia Kakramanov, I didn't get to see his last fight, but his fight before last, he took on Askar in a different promotion. And quick fight. First round, comes forward, he lands a left hook, he eats an uppercut, but then he lands a counter left hook, and then he gets a knockout with counter hooks as Askar is just pressing forward recklessly, basically. You know, so this guy's got power, but it didn't tell us too much. And then it was a couple years ago, but it was really hard for me to find tape. But he took on Umar Nurmagomedov, so that's a, you know, tough fight. But in the first round, he gets clinched to the fence. He lands a counter left hook, but then he gets hit with the right hook as he's coming forward. But he's able to reverse the clinch attempt, and he's able to break off the clinch. But then he eats a front kick at range from Umar. And then in the second round, he lands body kicks. He eats jabs as he's throwing his right hook, though. But he gets taken down with a body lock trip, and then he attempts the heel hook. And then he's able to get to his feet, but he gets mat returned from Umar. And in the third round, he eats head kicks at range. He's a front face kick, but he's able to land a hard straight right. And then he lands a few more, just chase him down, lands a straight right. You know, you could tell it hurt him a little bit. Nothing crazy, don't rock him, but definitely hit him with a good punch. He had Umar retreating. And then he just eats 2 more leg kicks at the end of the fight. But, you know, he looked okay from the fight was a couple years ago. But, you know, definitely a worthy contender. But I really didn't see anything amazing from him. You know, the knockout of Askar is walking recklessly, but he definitely has power. Sadia Kebab, he's plus 125, and Trevin Jones minus 150. Close line. You know, I like Trevin Jones. You know, recently these newcomers have been coming in and surprising. I get that. I get it can happen. But Trevin Jones is durable as hell. You know, Timur Valiev is not going to finish him like that. You really can't count him out. Minus 150 is a good price. He's been on a good winning streak. My pick here is Trevin Jones. In the main card, you got the big boys, heavyweight. Parker Porter taking on Chase Sherman. I'm excited about this one. I don't know. I got a feeling about Parker Porter. We'll see. Porter took on Josh Parisian in his last fight. First round, he presses forward, lands a 1-2, and then clinch. However, he eats a flurry in an exchange, and he gets hit with a jab as he's moving forward. However, he starts laying a few straight right, and he presses Parisian to the fence, and then he gets in on a single leg, and then he gets the tie clinch, and then he's able to land a 1-2 and then a leg kick. I like how he's utilizing that tie clinch. You don't see that all the time. Second round, he's able to draw Parisian with the leg kick as he's moving forward, and then he gets in on a deep guillotine attempt standing, and then he gets a tie clinch on the fence, and he's able to land elbows. He gets the body lock takedown to side control, and then he's able to get into half guard and maintain position and land some nice ground and pound. And then in the third round, he stalks forward, lands leg kicks, and he lands a left hook and then straight right. And he lands a few jabs against the fence, and he lands a 1-2, and then he stands at range, and he looks to enter with combinations. He kind of stays on the outside and waits for Parisian to throw or take a step, and then that's how he works his way in, so I like that. And then Chase Sherman, his last fight, he took on Andre Arlovsky, the tough gatekeeper at heavyweight. First round, he's at range, and he lands a 1-2, and then he lands a counter left hook off of Andre's right hand, and then he stalks forward, he lands a straight right, and then a hook, and then he lands a flurry, hits him with a bunch of shots, but, it's kind of Arlovsky's game plan sometimes. And then in the second round, he stalks and he throws a 1-2, but he gets hit with leg kicks and counter hooks from Andre. But he gets hit with jabs, he's moving forward, and then he gets clinched to the fence. In the third round, he moves forward, but he gets hit with jabs and 1-2s, combinations from Andre. But then he gets hit with a combination, but he's able to fire back. And they get into firefight exchanges, but he gets hit more than Andre did, I believe. But then he gets rocked with a counter, straight right off of his leg kick, and then he eats shots in a firefight exchange. Looked really good the first round. Second 2 rounds, he got a little tired, and Andre just has that veteran game plan, just keep moving forward, moves out of the way, and just tries to land the jabs, and Andre counters. Chase Sherman -200, Parker Porter +170. Tough call here. I think Chase Sherman's good. I think Chase Sherman's a better fighter than Parker Porter, but Parker Porter, you can't count him out. I thought he looked good his last fight, and this is heavyweight after all, and Parker Porter's good at going in there and making it a dogfight, and that's how he's going to beat Chase Sherman. I think he can do that. I think Sherman will fall off a little bit after the first round. Second and third is going to get real ugly. I like the price on him. My pick here is Parker Porter. Then the co-main event, 155 lightweight, you got Clay Guida taking on Marco Madsen. Really fun fight. A big spot for Clay Guida. If he can win, might get a big name up and comer next. So good spot. Clay Guida took on Michael Johnson his last fight. In the first round, he stalks forward, he lands an overhand right, and then he gets the single leg, presses to the fence, and he's able to get the takedown against the fence. However, back on the feet, he eats leg kicks as he's moving forward, and then he eats a 1-2 after he's throwing. But his thing is, he comes and then he slips inside and he'll throw that overhand right, and he's swinging hard, man. He's looking for a knockout. He's looking to do damage, and I like it. Then in the second round, he gets a double leg takedown against the fence, and then he's able to hold him on the fence, and then he shoots another single leg against the fence, and then he's able to stuff Mike's single leg attempt, and then he feints a strike, and he's able to get back in on the single leg, and he's relentless. He doesn't always get it, but he's pressing up against the fence, eating the clock, and just working and making Johnson tired, making it a dogfight. And then the third round, he eats a combination as he's stalking forward, but he gets back in on a single, and then he gets the crackdown position, so Michael's on his butt, and then he's able to transition to back control with the hooks and get the rear naked choke position. Doesn't get it, but he's working for it. It was close at one point, and that's how you finish a fight. Dominant. I loved how he looked in that fight, because Johnson's still dangerous, still got power, so I really like that performance. Marco Madsen, his last fight, he took on Austin Hubbard. In the first round, he stalks forward, and he gets the body lock takedown, and he's able to get around the back and just get multiple mat returns, which is good. He's not just letting him up. And then back on the feet, they separate. He throws a jab, and then he's back on the body lock takedown attempts, and then he attempts a necktie. It's kind of like a Doris choke from there. Really wasn't going to get it, but it's always good to try submission to stay busy on there, show some new threats. Then the second round, he gets a 1-2, and hits him with the 1-2, and then a single leg takedown, and Hubbard scrambles, but Mark's able to get back control off of it, and then he lands a blitz and then a body lock to back control, and then he gets to the front headlock position. However, back on the feet, he eats a 1-2 combination and then a knee to the body as he's coming forward. But then in the third round, he eats a hook and a knee, but he gets the double leg into full guard, and then he eats a flying knee as he's coming in, but then he lands straight right off of the clinch. He got cracked with that knee because he was coming a little reckless, because he just comes in for the body lock, but he was able to recover, and then he eats a leg kick and knee to the head, and then he walks into an uppercut from Hubbard. And as I said, like, he just starts getting reckless at the end of the fight for some reason, and then he eats a left to the body. He eats a leg kick, but he's able to get around Hubbard and get the lift and get back control, ride out the rest of the fight. Good performance from him. Ate some shots at the end, but came out fast and furious in the beginning, just like Guida. But you could definitely tell Marco fell off in the third round. You could tell he was gassing and getting a little reckless and making some bad decisions, in my opinion. Got sloppy. Marco Madsen, -160, Clay Guida, +140. This one's going to be dogfight. They both got great wrestling. But, I think Guido will be able to defend off the body lock. Or if he does get taken down, I think he'll be able to get right back up. I think second and third round, Guido's going to turn it on and just press him with that single leg and hit him with some big overhand rights. My pick here is Clay Guida. Event. Middleweight, 185. You got Jared Cannonier taking on Kelvin Gastelum. Both lost to Robert Whitaker their last fight. But each guy's looking to get back on the title track here. A win would be huge for either guy. Jared Cannonier took on Robert Whitaker his last fight. First round, he eats a body kick. He lands leg kicks as he lands leg kicks moving forward, but then he eats a counter left from Rob. But however, he's able to duck beneath Rob's hook, and he lands a straight right. But however, he eats a 1-2 and then a head kick to counter Rob's move. But he stays on the outside, and he starts pressing forward and tries to land a 1-2, but Rob's able to counter a lot of the time. In the second round, he lands a leg kick at range, then he lands a counter right off of Robert's jab. But however, he gets taken down with the body lock from space, but he's able to get right back up, so that's good to see, especially since Kelvin's a decent wrestler. And then he's able to land a leg kick and then overhand right, but he eats a 1-2 at range, and then he eats a double jab and then a straight right. And in the third round, he eats a jab at range, and he gets rocked with a 1-2 head kick, like bad, falls over, and then eats some heavy ground and pound from Rob. And then he gets put in the full mount, and then Rob's able to get back control. But he's able to get out of it, get back on his feet, and then he gets the clinch to the fence, and then he lands a knee to the body on Rob, and then he lands a kick to the body, and then he's able to rock him with a straight right toward the end of the fight. But he's able to stuff Rob's double leg, but Rob's able to clinch him. Rob has really great ring IQ and knew what he needed to do to ride out the rest of the fight. But, he got rocked pretty bad and came back, so Jared Cannonier is never going to be a guy to quit, so that's really good to see. Rob got the better of him, but he had his moment at the end of that fight, and, he's looked good. He has power. He can rock anybody. And Gastelum took on Whitaker his last fight. In the first round, he eats jabs. He's coming forward. He lands a 1-2, and then he gets hit with the 1-2 and then a head kick, Rob's move. And then he gets hit with the left hook, and he gets taken down with the body lock into half guard. And then the second round, his single leg is stuffed. He gets hit with a jab, and then he gets hit with the body hook. As he's moving forward, he throws a 1-2, but he gets taken down with the body lock by Rob. And then he eats a jab and a head kick, eats a 1-2 at range, and then he eats jabs and a head kick as he's moving forward. That's basically the story of that fight. He'll land, and then Rob will land 1-2, counter off of him. And then in the third round, he lands a 1-2 and presses forward, and he's able to land a flurry on Rob, but then he eats a straight left and he eats jabs at range. He lands a jab, but he eats a 1-2 and then a leg kick from Rob. Then fourth round, he shoots a single and he lands an elbow. Good moment from him, but then Rob's able to reset and he eats a 1-2 and he eats a jab as he's throwing a combo. Fourth and fifth, basically the same as the first three. Gastelum just, he tries to press forward, and Rob would just counter. And, Gastelum's wrestling really isn't all that great, in my opinion. And even his last fight against Heinisch, he was able to take him down. But Heinisch got him down a couple times. Gastelum wasn't able to maintain great control, in my opinion. Take a look at the betting line. Gastelum +125, Cannonier -145. I struggled here because I like Gastelum as an underdog, but thinking back on it, I think this fight will play out similar to the Whitaker fight. I think Cannonier will be able to counter him. I think Cannonier will be able to hit him with some big shots. If Gastelum gets him down, Cannonier's not going to stay there too long, and I think he'll be able to stuff the takedowns as the fight goes on. I think Gastelum's going to get hit a lot, and the price is pretty good. My pick here is Jared Cannonier. All right, guys, thank you for watching. Been having some rough weeks, but got a little break. It's a fresh week. Got a fun card. Lots of opportunities here. Some closer lines, more realistic lines. then, you know, the main event, like I said, it's an important fight in middleweight. You know, it's a little bit of a logjam because Whitaker and Adesanya got postponed. But, you know, they need a new contender, so hopefully this little mini tournament, I guess, you'll set up a new contender right away. And hopefully it's somebody Adesanya hasn't fought before. Like I said, you got Till and Brunson fighting soon. So, it's a, you know, it'll be fun for the division. And then, you know, not the best card, but next week we got Giga Chikadze taking on Edson Barbosa. That's going to be fun for featherweight development. And then in September, we're finally going to get that featherweight title fight, which will clear that logjam. And, you know, a lot of title fights come at us in the next couple months, so it's a fun time. Then you got Woodley versus Paul, which is huge for the MMA world. But anyway, I appreciate it. I did my research. Really trying to win some money. I think there's some good spots here. I appreciate it. Please follow me on social media, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, all of that. I do post fight recaps on Snapchat. And leave a comment. Get some discussion with me. Even if you don't like my stuff, I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys watching me. And hopefully I can win you guys some money. Thanks, guys.